All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. We are off location today with the heat wave and our cameras and laptops and everything else not wanting to work today on July 1st. So
Just
welcome into our homes. Diego's sitting in his house. I am apparently at Vitality Stadium, but actually in my home office here. Lots to talk about. We have Gold Cup, we have Club World Cup, we have some more transfers coming through. But most importantly, Diego, how was the week going for you? How's the weekend for you? What's going on?
as all hell, melting point, hot, my
Oh
friend.
my God, it's bad.
We're surviving it. We're coming. We're pulling through, watching a lot of soccer, and all this excitement. Man, has been so many great results during the weekend. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, the
we
heat.
we we talked about it. Before the tournament started. You know, the Club World Cup, is it too much? Do these guys have enough rest? And we acknowledge that either way, we're probably going to be watching. And in all honesty, a lot of the competition has been pretty good overall. Lots of surprises, and we're going to get to that now. So let's jump right in. Obviously, for the MLS and the American standpoint, Inter Miami lost 4-0 to PSG. So
Whatever.
they are the last MLS team in the tournament. So they were knocked out. Goals from Joao Neves, two of them, own goal from Thomas Aviles, and a nice goal from Ashraf Hakimi. All in the first half, four first half goals, and it was done and dusted right from there. So
It was domination. It was PSG quality soccer, and Miami just didn't know how to react. They just couldn't
yeah,
control that game. Could have gone 10-0 easy.
Yeah, I just saw in an article, a statement from Zlatan Ibrahimovic, actually, I believe it was, basically saying, Messi's out there playing with 10 statues on the field next to him. So, it's tough out there, against anyone, let alone the reigning European champions, and they are really just buzzing right now. So.
Blood. They're out for blood right now, and that's what we're gonna expect on every game they play. People try to dismiss them a little bit after the championship, so now they want to prove everything wrong.
Myself included. I thought this was going to be kind of a summer hangover. And they, to their credit, they are, Luis Enrique has really got them going at
Absolutely.
quite a nice little clip there. So, all right, so let's move over to one of the upsets. Inter Milan hosting Fluminense out of Brazil. You and I, with Aaron, we watched this, live in the tap room, just the three of us.
Yeah.
A third-minute goal from Herman Cano put Fluminense ahead. And then the nail in the coffin, a 93rd minute goal from Hercules.
Oh, Hercules, Hercules.
I could not resist grabbing that soundbite. One of my favorite movies of all time. So, really a very opportunistic Fluminense squad.
Yep.
Um, Kind of a lifeless Inter Milan team, at least to start. They started to grow into the game. Some huge saves, a couple posts were hit by Inter, late in the second half. They could not break the door down and get something done. And like we said, off that counterattack, the Hercules goal really just killed it
Yep.
off for them. And I mean, we look now, and they have a pretty good route, potentially to a Club World Cup final.
Oh, absolutely. No, and you know what? Like I've been saying, this is Brazil's soccer. This is the style I want to see the national team play like.
Yeah,
This is the people, they are at the level of European teams. The Brazilian league, the Brasileirão, has always been a high quality league. I mean, yes, it hasn't been watched by too many people around the world, but that doesn't mean that the quality is not there, and the level of play is incredible. You see these players;
yeah,
they
yeah,
have no fear of anybody. They have no qualms by going through all the grind and the defense. And yes, at this point, Inter ran a little bit into bad luck because there were a couple of shots that You say if they go in the
Yeah,
game,
some great saves. We saw Lautaro hit the post, hit the crossbar on a shot off a set piece.
absolutely.
So it
But,
really was just a little
but
bit of luck, but that's what you need here.
Fluminense never lost their cool. They just kept
Right,
it cool.
right.
They kept playing. They knew what they had to do, and they did it.
So in the quarterfinal, Fluminense will play the winner of Man City Al Hilal, which was last night. And wouldn't you know it, Man City 3, Al Hilal 4 in extra time. So let's
Let
run through this. I normally you would see me looking, straight at the camera, but obviously with my home setup, I'm looking at multiple screens over here. So Bernardo Silva in the 9th minute, then Marcos Leonardo in the 46th to draw things level. Malcolm in the 52nd minute actually put Al Hilal ahead before an Erling Haaland goal in the 55th. From there, so 2-2 after regulation and three more goals in the extra time period. Koulibaly in the 94th, Phil Foden in the 104th, and then Marcos Leonardo again in the
yeah,
112th minute. What a match. 70% possession for Man City.
absolutely.
30 shots, 15 on target for Man City. Only
But
6 shots on target for Al Hilal, and they scored 4 goals.
now
What are your thoughts?
30 shots on goal, 15 on target. That was just a shootout. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's the only thing we can describe that game, and the best game of the tournament so far. No
yeah.
lie.
I mean, I have to admit, I watched some of the highlights this morning, but I do have to admit I fell asleep like right around halftime
Oh,
of
no.
this match last night.
Like, I was suffering. I couldn't believe what was happening. It was incredible. But yeah, best match of the tournament ever. And leave it to a Saudi team. Leave it to Al Hilal to just, step up and being like, all right,
Yeah, yeah,
we have no fear. The Heat, okay, let's come back to this because I'm sweating my butt off right now as you all. But it does come into picture, especially if you're playing almost 100 minutes. That's a whole
yeah,
different
yeah.
ball of wax. That helped them because all the goals that came out at the end, it was just exhaustion goals. People were just trying to finish the match, and things happen.
Yep.
But the prop to Hilal or Halil? But
Uh, I've been calling it Hilal. I don't know for sure that is correct, but that's the way I've been pronouncing it. I will continue with that, and I will apologize profusely if I'm proven to be wrong.
congratulations to the team. Congratulations to Al Hilal
Yes.
because they have stepped up big time. We always talk about punching above your weight, and we thought that this is one of those matches, and they definitely did, and they definitely got the result.
Yeah. So the top half of the bracket is set. Both games will be on Friday, the 4th of July,
Oh my
at
God.
3 p.m. Fluminense against Al Hilal. And at 9 p.m., Palmeiras and Chelsea. So two Brazilian sides in the top half of that quarterfinal. Um, it's anyone's guess at this point. On who you might go through, who would win. Very similar, reminds me of this year's Champions League as well, where we sat in the studio and said, we were at the semifinal period, and we said any of these 4 squads, not only could they make the final, they could win the final.
Yeah.
And obviously, PSG took it, demonstrably with their victory over Inter Milan. But that side is really just wide open. On the bottom half, we have PSG and Bayern, another clash of the Titans. For those of you that did watch earlier today, Real Madrid did beat Juve 1-0, so they are into the quarterfinals as well. They will face the winner of tonight's match, Borussia Dortmund and Monterrey. Monterrey being the last CONCACAF representative in this tournament. So,
Last chance for us.
um, yeah, I mean, how about Sergio Ramos for Monterrey coming back to play Real Madrid in the quarterfinal?
Exactly. That's
That would
it.
be.
Gonna be a header at the 93rd minute.
I'm
90
I'm
plus one.
not. If I had to pick a Spanish team, it would be Barcelona. I'm not a big Sergio Ramos guy, but uh, he's one of those guys where he's been around so long that the villain kind of becomes the hero,
Yes.
and
It's circle.
the fact that he is still humming along at how old is he's got to be what 38? How old
Close
do we
to, if not 40.
39. He just turned 39 back in March. So still
It's
humming along, still
but the
playing.
player, the level of Ramos's play and the leadership and the way. I mean, he's gonna. But chances are that he's gonna, retire in the very next year. He's going into coaching anyways. So
Right.
that's the quality he brings to any team he's at.
I don't
He's
know,
a on the field.
maybe he hops in with PK and gets into Kings League. What do you think?
Oh, that will be sick.
Yeah.
That will be the thing that that league needs. I mean, yeah, maybe he starts the competition. I want to say PK's got already Spain on on a stronghold when it comes to that Kings League stuff. But it will be another phase that will legitimize that tournament a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
more, and he might make it into the mainstream like soccer fans. All it's like us.
I mean, you obviously we know it with some of our coworkers and some of our colleagues are definitely into Kings League, but I am hearing in the periphery of just general fans more and more at least an awareness about it, which is good for Kings League obviously and just good for the game in general. It exposes a whole nother style of play, more individual skills. Kind of reminds me of like we're old enough to remember the N1 mixtape tour for basketball,
And
in this like small-sided 3v3, 5v5 play, and it's good for just the game in general, I think.
absolutely. And you know what? It shows FIFA that they're not the end all be all
Yeah.
of kicking a ball on the ground. So, like, if anything, that's what I love that this is happening. The fact that it's creating an alternative for the future fans of soccer. Whether it's going to be 11 on 11 or not, there is
Yep.
push for an
Yeah.
alternative. And it's not just what FIFA says and what FIFA does goes and their, will is law. So that is that is the political side of me cheering for the Kings League. But nonetheless, the content is great. The format is incredible. The product has increased exponentially. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
ready for it to hit the mainstream and take the USA by storm.
Hey, I'm here for it. More content for us to cover, right?
Hell yeah, baby. Maybe
All
we'll
right.
make it down the road.
Yeah, speaking of more content, that's going to do it for our week abroad right now. We will be right back. Couple quick MLS matches locally, but most importantly, we have Gold Cup to cover. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Yeah, man.
All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. We got Diego here with me. I'm Dave, and we are in our home offices as our studio fights the weather gods and just trying to stay cool here. So we will jump into very briefly, some MLS action. Both matches were on Saturday. Red Bulls tied Minnesota United 2-2. Goals from, just like we say, almost every single Red Bull game. Emil Forsberg and Choupo-Moting. Goals from Minnesota from Yeboah and Markinich. And a very interesting occurrence toward the end of the match. Um, the game was 2-2 at that point, thanks to the 90th minute goal from Choupo-Moting, and then Red Bulls are on a counterattack, really flying. Forsberg had the ball, was about to play it forward, and the referee blew the match dead for the end of
No,
regulation.
really?
And Sandro Schwartz, Red Bull manager, stormed the field
Well, of
to
course.
to go talk to the referee, which again, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you agree with them or not, obviously, that can't be happening. So he was sent off. They just released it about 2 hours ago, from the MLS, that he will face additional fines as well. So Schwartz, and his red card may be expanded for, more matches as well. But just a quick little side note on that. As for NYCFC, traveling up to Canada to face Montreal, last place team in the Eastern Conference, but without starting goalkeeper Matt Freese, leading goal scorer Alonso Martinez, who happened to have played against each other in the Costa Rica USA match. We'll get to that later. Only 2 shots on target for NYCFC. A lifeless 1-0 loss with Mehdi Bellucci, interim coach, managing the squad in that match. Pascal Janssen was taken away from his coaching duties for personal reasons. I believe he went back to Europe. So obviously, without any information out there, we hope all is well with him and his family. But really just kind of a, during these Gold Cup, tournaments and international tournaments to see the MLS still playing, I get it, they have to fit it into the calendar, but it just kind of, I almost forgot, and I'm a fan, and I almost forgot they even had a game. So
Loses relevance, absolutely.
yeah. So at this point, after 20 matches played, Red Bull are in 7th place in the East on 29 points, and NYCFC in 9th place with 19 matches played, so 1 less than Red Bull on 28 points. So still plenty of room to move.
Yep.
We are just past the halfway point of the year. And we're now into the summer transfer window for the MLS. So this is where kind of the movers and shakers will earn their keep. And these general managers and coaches have to kind of button up their squad and get ready for this stretch run into the playoffs.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is the time. And I mean, like we always said, finish strong, get into the top 8, you should be fine.
Yes. All right. So now let's move over to the bigger topic at hand. Gold Cup hosted in the U.S. Let's get the first one out of the way. Utter dominance from Mexico, not conceding a single shot on target against Saudi Arabia. 2-0 victory, and they have moved into the semifinal. Wait, where am I here? Do I have that right? Where am I?
Yeah, they're going into
Yes.
a
Yeah, I don't know why again, technical difficulties with our whole system here. This is wild. There we go. Okay. So
Mexican knows that I'm talking about them. I mean, every time I say something a little bit negative about them, they just come back and show me.
Dude, I'm telling. I think Peluche's got a line right into the FMF, the Mexican Federation. He says, "Listen, Diego is talking shit. You got to prove him wrong."
100%, man. Every single time. Way to show up for Mexico, man.
Yeah.
Really showed up and showed out. And like you said, it was domination. I mean, it was a little bit like PSG and Inter, to be 100% honest with you. Mexico could have scored a lot more. They just kind of didn't want to.
Yep. And now for one of the shockers, Panama losing to Honduras in penalties. Only 31% possession for Honduras. Just did not have it, but they stayed resolute. They got a late goal from Anthony Lozano in the 82nd minute. They drew things level and hunkered down, made it through, and 5-4 on penalties.
No, the game was really, really good. There was attacking options back and forth, but the defense was just short this time around.
Yeah.
They kind of control the match. People got there. The effort was there. The grind was there. It was just Honduras. Honduras refused to believe that they could not get through. That was what it was. That was the bottom line of that whole match.
And it's funny, every couple of years when they do this Gold Cup, it's always like, it's CONCACAF. It doesn't really, have it's not Copa America, it's not the Euros, but here we are every single time, and good storylines, good competition, upsets, the whole thing, and we're back at it again. So down on the other half of the bracket, Canada 1, Guatemala 1. Guatemala advancing on penalties. So another shocker. first half stoppage time red card from Canadian Jacob Schaffelberg, the
Yeah,
4th minute of stoppage time,
yeah.
really opened the door for Guatemala. Only 5 shots total on target between both squads, so a very cagey match.
No, 100%.
Um, but again, just like we talked about with Honduras, Guatemala, despite the extra man, just kind of did what they needed to do,
Yeah.
got through regulation, took it to penalties, and they came out on top. And now Guatemala and Honduras are
Played us.
Gold Cup semifinalists. This is, you know, again, this is, in my opinion, a product of the American game. With MLS, with USL, a lot of
Yeah.
these guys do play in the leagues here in the US.
Both
Um,
both of the scorers from both Honduras and Guatemala, I think, are MLS players.
I don't have that in front of
Yeah.
me, but yeah, I mean it's been obvious to even U.S. soccer fans, and that's obviously we're a little bit down right now with our squad as Americans, but one of the biggest reasons why we're not as dominant as we used to be in these tournaments, us in Mexico, is Canada, Jamaica, Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, all these guys that are coming up and playing quality soccer in the
Yeah.
MLS. So
100%. And that is I mean, that's the idea. This country is the bigger country. This country is the main, the superpower. This is the catalyst. I mean, it's a
yes,
price to pay. It kind of sucks, but being the catalyst is good for everybody.
yeah. All right. So the last one, the one that at least my half of this show was all in on, USA Costa Rica. The Again, as an NYCFC fan as well, you had Alonso Martinez, the leading scorer for NYCFC, playing striker for Costa Rica against Matt Freese, starting goalkeeper for NYCFC, and now
This was
US. Uh,
nice.
2-2 after regulation. That included a missed penalty from the Americans, from Malik Tillman. And Alonso Martinez, NYCFC player, scored in the 71st minute to bring things to 2-2.
Yep.
Bunch of penalties. And NYCFC goalkeeper Matt Freese was out of his mind.
The man right there. That
He
was.
had, I believe he had 3 saves.
Yep.
First of all, to be the goalkeeper of note in a shootout when Keylor Navas is
Yep.
the other goalkeeper just shows you how well he can do.
Yeah.
So he saved 3 penalties. He got his hands, I think, to 5 or 6 of them. I think he guessed right every single time.
Every time but
And
one.
yeah,
Every,
and so let's see. We have a clip of Freeze talking about exactly that.
Penalties are my thing. I've been the plane ride over here to Minnesota. I was studying the penalties, and so I've been studying them all week, and was ready for it if we needed it.
So it just goes to show how much time you put into this stuff, especially when you're in a knockout tournament. It really one, he's an Ivy League guy, so he's obviously kind of a book guy. He's well versed. He's a big studier. I was just reading, actually, he did a research paper on penalties in his time at Harvard. So to have that kind of game theory mindset on the guessing, the game between the forward and the goalkeeper, and that really does kind of show, one, his expertise, but two, just this right now is a wide open goalkeeper position for the US. And NYCFC affinity aside, I can't see anyone, at least at this point, taking Freese's job until he loses it.
absolutely no. He's shown his professionalism, his character, his quality of play. And yeah, maybe he came out as a backup because of an injury, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yep.
But nonetheless, he earned his play, he earned his position, and I think right now he is goalkeeper one. No
Yeah.
doubt.
So that's the
Just,
funny thing. He started this, well, before the camp started. He was probably, if by some accounts, probably 4th or 5th
yep.
within the U.S. depth chart. Then you have injuries to Zach Steffen. You have injuries to Patrick Schulte. Matt Turner hasn't played quality minutes in who knows how long. Ethan Horvath, same thing. You have why can't I think of his name now? The young guy. He was in New England and then went to was he in New England, Chicago? The young goalkeeper went to Chelsea. Georgie Petrovic. Is that why can't I? And why am I losing names here? The heat is getting to me.
All right, just Google it, B. You're in the
Not
office.
not
Just
yeah,
Google it.
not Georgie Petrovic. Shoot. There was either way, there was another goalkeeper, an American goalkeeper. I think he came out of Chicago. And he hasn't been playing in Europe either. So, to see all this, to have Freese, literally at the last minute get called into camp because of injuries and now do what he's doing has been just a godsend for the US team where we, for the first time in, kind of our, collective history,
Yeah.
we're both late 30s, early 40s. I won't give exact numbers. We don't have a dominant goalkeeper, which is unheard of for the American national team. So
Because that was the bread and butter. That was the
yeah,
anchor. Every American team having a very skillful back, not just the goalkeeper, but a goalkeeper that could lead its own defense and coordinate his players.
yeah,
And that's what he's doing right now. So big ups for him. And I mean, I'm very happy for that. Now, Tyler needs to take control of the middle and
yeah.
Pulisic start scoring some goals that we
He
should be
actually
goals.
Tyler took the first penalty in the shootout. I couldn't believe it.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's ready. Like now we're ready to get this going. Pochettino, somebody has to see. The tournament is gonna end the next 6 months. It's just you gotta iron out who your anchors are gonna be. Freeze is ready, so maybe you should make him
Yeah,
as your anchor in the back. Now you got Tyler in the middle, coming back from a good year. I mean, it was disappointing because he was injured for a while and stuff, but he finished strong in Bournemouth, so he
yeah.
should that leadership role in the middle. And have Pulisic come back as the star he is and start, contributing on attack.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note. You mentioned Pochettino a little bit there. Um, they have not looked great most of this tournament, but they're getting results, and that's you kind of go back and forth. When teams are winning all the time, you want them to win pretty, but listen, in a knockout tournament like this, I'll take whatever we can get, and
Yep.
you know, despite the adversity that they faced, Pochettino is all in with that, and acknowledging that, and proud of the guys for overcoming it. So let's have a listen to Pochettino. I believe this was post match after the game.
But I think we show great character to, okay, we miss a penalty, we get the penalty, we miss a penalty, and then the team keep going and keep believing in the way to play.
Yeah, so exactly that. Apologies for those listening. It was a little bit quiet, but to concede that early penalty that Arsene gave up, to go
And then,
down 1-0, to miss your own penalty from Tillman,
yeah,
who then made a penalty in the shootout. To get through all that and still come out victorious. Again, we've talked about it with Arsenal and Liverpool, just kind of grinding out victories when you need to. I don't care if they're pretty or not, and that's what we saw here with with this U.S. team.
that's a sign of a winning team. A winning team doesn't always win with beautiful goals, like you said, with a lot of discrepancy between you and the other team. Sometimes you're even. Sometimes you even play worse than the other team.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you get the 3 points. That is your ultimate goal for you, for your fans, for everybody. So yeah, no, winning pretty is not all. Resiliency, perseverance, all the things that he described in that little clip that you put. That's what he wants to see. And again, now that he saw that from his B team, as people has been calling it, imagine when the real starters come in.
yeah,
You can get better from that.
right.
It's like cleaning up a machine. If your subpar parts bring you this far, once you get your premium set, you should be happy.
Yep. And I while we were listening to that Pochettino conference, I did find it. It's Gaga Slonina, was the Chicago Fire goalkeeper. sold to Chelsea, and he is now part of the Chelsea loan army. He had 11 appearances for Barnsley
Oh,
last season in League One, which is the third tier of English football. So.
nice.
Uh, so that'll do it for this section. What's on tap? Our games up ahead this week. Obviously, we have two semifinals tomorrow on Wednesday evening.
Yep.
The first one at 7 p.m. USA Guatemala. I will be in the tap room for our trivia night, so we will definitely have a game on somewhere, whether it's on the big screen, whether it's on TV.
No, no.
So definitely come on in and enjoy some trivia. Enjoy, get yourself some cans of beer to bring to 4th of July festivals. And then at 10 p.m. Mexico Honduras. Um, and the winner of those two matches will have a date on Sunday. So the Gold Cup final, 7 p.m. Sunday evening. As far as the tap room is concerned, we have a couple things to maneuver about and see if we can get something done for that game. But we will, check our socials. We will definitely be posting, if and when we're going to have that match. So,
Absolutely.
all right. One for the road. You got anything for us?
Shout out to Honduras and Guatemala, man.
Yeah.
Every single one of those fans out there, you suffer through it. Enjoy it when you got it.
I preaching to the choir.
Yeah,
I still remember exactly where I was when the U.S. lost that last qualifier for the 2018 World Cup. So,
yeah,
for these, nations that, tend to be also rans within CONCACAF qualifying and the Gold Cup, to see them playing at this level and putting themselves in the shop window, whether it's the team in general, whether it's the manager to get a better job, whether it's some of these players to move on as a stepping stone. Kudos to them. It really is cool to see this kind of atmosphere. It's reminiscent of like when the Saudi Arabia Argentina game in the World Cup, or the Senegal France match in 2002 after France was, the reigning world champions. Like to see these, I don't want to say, unheard of, but, they're certainly not marquee players and marquee squads.
exactly. And that's the beautiful thing of it. They don't get to do this all the time. They don't get to be here. So if you check out the news right now, like Honduras and Guatemala are basically national holiday for the rest of this
Yeah,
weekend.
that's
They are
awesome.
super thrilled and they deserve that. Those are countries that are in tough situations right now. So their people need every single good news that they can get. And this couldn't come in a better time for them.
For sure. All right, so that is going to do it for us today. Stay tuned, though. We will have a special episode
Yeah.
Thursday morning, a little post semifinal redux. We'll talk about the Gold Cup semis. We'll do a preview for Sunday's final, the whole thing, and then we have a couple more things to listen to on the holiday weekend, and that's about it. So be sure to like, share, follow on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Hop into the Discord. We got some really cool things going there.
Yep.
Maybe doing actually the La Liga calendar did come out today, so I have to take a look at that and see what games we can get on with that for
Yeah.
the
But
fall.
keep an eye
But
on us.
we are definitely going to be having a lot more influence with La Liga and Barcelona matches. Obviously, probably Real Madrid and Atleti as well. But we are here to show the matches. We are here to build this community, and it all comes from you. Whether it's the podcast, whether it's the events we do, whether it's our Bournemouth event for the summer series kickoff on July 24th, anything and everything soccer is all thanks to you guys in the community. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the tap room this week or right here on Thursday morning. Cheers, guys.
Peace out, mi people, gente. Bye.